Okay. So we had started our discussion on functions, right? And we said that functions is a way of uh, it's a way of writing few lines of code and giving it a name, right?
Yeah.
So this is how you define function one, and it might have some parameters. Okay, it may or may not. So I'm going to give num1, comma num2, and then print num1 equal to uh, and you can print it, or you can even return it, right? And what we said is if you are returning it, you say func1, you pass the values 5, 10, okay?
Hmm.
Required positional argument. Required positional argument because these numbers are required and it has to be in the same order. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay. So now when you run your P2, num1 will be 5, num2, right? So,
I'm supposed to tell you.
yeah. So num2 is 10, you get addition 15. Now, since you are giving return, you can actually catch this value as well. I can say result equal to, and you can say print result of addition is result. Okay, so the result of addition is 15. So you can pass the value. Now, what you see here, okay, is called a required positional because the function takes two input parameters and we have to pass two input parameters to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
So,
have to pass. Yeah, go ahead.
so if we change the function number, so and then run it, then it will show the addition or correct number, right? If we will put here 10 and 15.
So num1 will take 10, left to right.
Okay.
Okay, left
Mm-hmm.
to right. So 5 will go to num1. Okay, 10 will go to num2. If you change here or here, the values will change. Okay, so first value will go to leftmost value. Second will go to rightmost value.
Right. Okay. The 5 is left and 10 is number 2. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm,
So for subtraction, we can use the same thing. Like if we return, like if we put return subtract.
uh, uh See, logic you can put anything, right? It's up to you. And in fact, logic is going to be too complex. Okay, logic is not going
Mm.
to be so easy, simple line.
Okay.
Okay, I gave you to show you that how to declare. That's the intention.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
actual usage will be a lot more different, lot more complex, right? You'll be writing the entire logic here. This is just to show you return value and this input value.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. So second option, what I told you was that you can have default values. Okay.
Okay.
Now, when you have default values, then if you give the values, it will take the value that you give. Okay. This is the default one. Function 2 we are calling. But if you do not give, okay, let me put this here. So that function 1. Okay. Now here num1 is required, num2 is default,
Fault.
and positional argument. Position means still it is n1 n2. Okay.
Mhm.
If you give two values, second value will go to num2 only. So position is there, just that you may not have, you do not have to give the value for
Num2.
num2. Yeah, num2 has its own value. If you give, it will take the one that you give. Okay. But if you
Okay.
do not give,
By
okay,
default, it took na.
yeah. So if I delete it, you see num2 is 100.
100 only. Yeah.
Mm, okay.
Yes.
Um, so third type that we discussed was that non-positional. Okay.
Okay.
So for non-positional, okay, uh, you say here, you give the same variable name. I'll say num2 equal to 5 and
Hmm.
num1 equal to 25. Okay.
Hmm.
It's called, uh,
Non-positional.
yeah, I mean, it's not called, I mean, it's non-positional, but it's not called non-positional. So actual name is called default argument. Not default, sorry. Keyword argument. Default is the other one.
Okay.
Keyword
Word argument.
argument. Okay, which means basically non-positional. Okay,
Hmm.
position doesn't matter because it depends upon
Values.
the argument
Defined
name that you
values.
give. Argument name that
Ha.
you give.
Like num2, what we are giving, right?
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Mm. So okay. So these are things that we had discussed last time, and then we have uh, what you call as default length argument or variable length argument. Rather, that is the actual word. Okay. So I'm just thinking of an example. Okay. So let's say uh, let's say I take same example. Okay. Uh, uh, def all data. I call it all data. Then I have num1, okay, which is like normal variable. Okay. I'll say num2, which is also like normal variable. Okay. Then I'm going to say star var1, and I'll say double star var2. Okay. Now num1, num2 is very much like your previous argument. And what kind of argument is this?
Non-positional.
Positional required. There's no default here, right?
Okay.
So now I'll just simply print all of them. Print
One.
equal to, okay. Okay. Now, obviously, I have to call this, right? So
Yeah.
I'm going to say all data. Okay. Now for num1, I have to give a value. Otherwise, okay. Now I have to value for say
Num2.
num2. Okay. Now when I run it, so num1 is 5, num2 is 83, 5 went to num1. And I did not give any value for var1 and
And
var2.
yeah.
So see, these are empty. It's called variable length. That means it can take any number of arguments. It can take
Mm,
zero number of arguments also.
okay.
Okay. Okay. Now, if you see here, variable length 1, what kind of bracket is this?
Curly.
So what kind of values do you think it will have?
Complex.
Is it curly first, you tell me?
Uh, hey, first one is a small bracket. Second one is curly.
Correct. So when do we use small bracket? When do we use curly bracket?
Small we use for num numbers, integers.
What is it? You forgot.
Curly हमने डिक्शनरी के लिए यूज किया
फिर
था. I remember.
फिर
हाँ?
ये डिक्शनरी हुआ ना?
Okay.
डिक्शनरी के यूज करोगे तो डिक्शनरी हुआ ना? फिर
And small, I guess tuple में small यूज किया था.
हम्म
हाँ, I remembered list के लिए big bracket, tuple के लिए small and curly is for dictionary.
राइट. उसके लिए क्या क्या है?
Hmm?
उसके लिए क्या है? सिंपल ब्रैकेट के लिए क्या बोला आपने?
Tuple बोला
यस
था.
यस यस. करेक्ट.
But
मेक सेंस.
but I didn't clear with that like how we got the value in tuple and dictionary.
So star will
Hmm?
take value in tuple. Double
Okay.
star will take
Done.
value in list. Okay.
Mm,
So we have not given it yet, so that's why you don't know how it will take. See, it will take as dictionary and tuple. The
mm.
question should be, the question should be how to
How to
pass
use?
those values.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
The question should be how to pass those values, isn't it?
Hmm.
So how to pass those values? Tuple, you don't have to do anything. So let's say I
Oh,
want to pass multiples of 12, let's say. So I say 12, 24,
40,
36,
48.
60, right?
Mm.
So what happens? See, it has read 12 to 60 as a tuple. Why it has read? Because we said star. So num1, num2 we gave, right?
Huh. 5 and 83 already.
Yes. So num1 and num2 will take two values.
Hmm.
It will not compromise on that.
Okay.
Num1 and num2 will take the values. Now whatever is left will go to
Dictionary. Where to?
no very tuple.
Okay. Okay.
But
In that.
see, after
All data.
num2, it will go to var1, right?
Mm-hmm.
After var1, what is left will go to dictionary. But how do we give dictionary? Do you remember?
We have to give key and
Yes, we
value.
have to give key value pair. We can't just give like this.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Right? Okay. So how do you give? You have to give name equal to Sachin.
Sachin.
Okay. City equal
City
to
is Mumbai. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
okay.
Mm.
Now you run.
Yes. Got it.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So these are the four types of functions. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this concept of modules in Python. That means, let's say I write some a great function, okay, and I want you to use it. How can I pass on to you? Okay, so I will create a module. Okay, so I'm going to create a module. What is a module? Module is nothing but a file, Python file,
Hmm.
okay, which will have okay many functions. That's it. So basically,
Okay.
you're grouping.
Hmm.
Okay, basically you're grouping functions together in one Python file.
Okay, so like if I would be share this file to anyone, so they will be input their numbers accordingly and run the data, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
So let's say uh, this is P2. I wrote all these functions. and I give it to you. Okay,
Mm.
you want to use it for your purpose.
Okay.
So what you will do is P2, right? Let me open P1 or something. Okay, here you will say import P2.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm.
the moment you say import P2, all the functions of P2 is now available. Okay,
Yeah.
is now available. Okay, so how do you access? You'll say pu2 dot, and see these were the one,
All the
two, three
functions.
functions that we have written.
Okay, here we will get. I thought ki it would be pasted in the
No, it will not be
uh
pasted, but it will
one.
be able to access it.
Okay.
So you're defining it only one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay. Whatever we did, showing here on.
yeah.
Import T2 and T2 dot.
Okay, so it will not be uh, what do you call um, uh, copy and paste it. Okay, basically it is going to make it available. So when you call it, it will go and call the function from P2. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's say I call function 1, I say 66, 88. Now, before that, I'll show you one magic. Let me not even call it. Let me simply import P2. Now I'm going to call P1.
Mm.
What happens, you see? Oh, I think I clicked on wrong button. P1, I'm going to run it P1. See what happened? So when you say import P2, it is same as like executing P2. See, the P2
Okay.
has run.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now when I want to call those functions, I may not want
These existing values. Okay.
exactly. I don't want those to call. So
Ah,
you have to save them. So go to
okay.
P2. Okay.
Mm.
We have something called as if, okay, if underscore name equal to underscore main. Okay. What does
Mm.
this mean? It means if this function is calling, P2 is calling, one is then call this. So now if when I go and call P1, everything will be called, but hello is not called. Okay. But now when I go and change it to P2, and now when I call it, you see hello is called. Okay,
Okay.
hello is
Uh-huh.
called. So this hello name equal to main, okay, is a condition check. It will check who is calling this function. If the same file, main means myself,
Okay.
right?
Main self. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that means P2 is getting called. If
Okay.
P2 is getting called,
Then
then
and only it will show.
yes,
And then if okay, otherwise the same as it is. We will
correct,
got it if
correct,
we are not passing this rule.
correct. So what we'll do now is I'm going to call all this here,
Yes. Okay.
right?
Hmm.
I want these functions to be called only when we are
P2.
calling directly. Function definition should be there because I
Mm-hmm.
want to call the function definition from outside,
Okay.
right?
Huh.
But calling
Okay.
a
After
function,
uh,
okay, so none of the function called is outside name equal to main, right?
hmm.
So name equal to main, I'm putting all these. And now when I call P2, no change, right? P2 is giving same output.
Yes.
But
But
now
in
when you
B1,
go and change P1,
B1.
P1 is calling P2, but since none of these are in the main, okay,
Hmm.
nothing from main is called. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is how you can use, this is how generally
Functions.
modules are used, basically. Okay,
Hmm.
makes sense? Okay, so we'll stop here for today. Uh,
Yes.
next session, we'll talk about class and objects. Okay.
Okay. Tomorrow we'll have class, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
At 7